I don't need a brand name to tell me my self-worth and to give
How
me
did I
confidence.
I didn't attach it to self-worth.
This is what I'm trying to say.
No,
I'm
but you
saying
did. You opened this podcast with saying, I'm not sure your mom will have anything to contribute because she didn't go to a brand name school. Hello, namaste. Welcome to the Zarna Garg family podcast where four Gargs are in the house. We are so excited about today's episode. It's going to get heated, it's going to get detailed. Actually, today is going to be an episode that's going to be filled with little details that we're going to get into. The topic for today is how we learn. How the different generations have learned to study, how we have learned to do business and work, how we have learned to excel in school or not, because we have three different generations here that did it three different ways. And without wasting any time, let's get right into it. My husband of 26 years, Wall Street veteran Shalabh Garg, my daughter who just finished college, Zoya Garg, and my son who's in middle school, Veer Garg, is in the house. And it turns out that all of us learn things differently. My husband and I, we are of the generation where it was all rote learning. Shalabh, do you remember that? We had to
Yes,
memorize
yes. I
pages
mean,
and
I do have to
pages.
say though that amongst the three generations, you didn't go to high-end schools and colleges, so I don't know how much you can contribute, but I will try our best. I know, but she didn't really go to like you know, I don't want to like get into that, but it's just your mom will have a hard time contributing to the quality of education, but that's okay. I think it's
Okay.
acceptable.
All right.
It's
Okay.
acceptable only because she's done big things afterwards, but just
Hmm.
on the topic itself, it'll be kind of, she may feel a little out of place, but that's okay.
No one is learning at a more rapid pace than mom.
What do
Literally
you
not a
mean?
single
Well, maybe we
person.
should start the conversation with, do prestige schools matter?
Well,
Because
I
because
mean,
if you
I'm
listen to
not
what
going
your
to
dad
even.
says, it's everything. And apparently, like people who didn't go to a prestige school like me are not qualified to even comment on education.
Well,
why
let's
does
talk
it
about that.
matter? I think it matters more what knowledge you actually have. There are
I mean,
so
prestige
many.
schools, Zoya, it's selectivity, right? If you're going to study with 2,000 kids who are 3% of the applicant pool that were accepted, will that not make a difference to the education that you interpret? Let's say that the same 2,000 kids were selected out of a 15% pool or a 25% pool, and all of them were given the same material. Is it not going to matter what the impact it has on the students studying that same material?
Okay, but now you're talking about peer group, right? You're
Yes,
talking about
yes,
specifically your peer group and how that affects how you learn. Now, I
yes.
do think that having a really academically inclined peer group is extremely helpful in terms of what you learn, right? Like Veer, would you say the kids in your school are really smart or what?
um th- there's like a wide it's a very wide set of kids. There's a lot of kids who are like insanely smart and are just gonna like just be insanely smart, and then there's also a lot of kids who just don't try as hard in school and they definitely don't take school as seriously. And then there's some kids that fall in the middle because it's just I go to like one of the biggest middle schools, public middle schools in New York, so there's always going to be a wide variety of different types of people who go.
Because I think
But
what's
Veer,
interesting, wait,
are
wait,
you
wait.
not prep? Yeah.
Can I ask him one question and then I'll let you? Because I think this what's interesting about Veer's school and how it relates to your question of prestige is Veer is in a school where there's not prestige, right? Like he's in a public middle school. There's no like brand name recognition for this middle school because it's a middle school and it's a public school. And but there are levels, right? Veer is in all the accelerated advanced classes. So, do you find Veer being in a peer group that's been selected for you to be theoretically more advanced has accelerated your learning?
I don't know what it's really like to be in the non-accelerated classes, so I can't really speak on that, but I do think that the way that the teachers view you is definitely a little different. I think they do expect more of you when you're in the accelerated classes than when you're not. I think that's more of like if you do something immature, they definitely are more like this is not the type of behavior I'm expecting from you.
Veer, the question I have for you is it or is it not true that for better part of the last 12 months, you're prepping for a very exclusive high school entrance exam?
It's
What
true.
motivates you to do that?
What motivates me to do that is going not being able to go to a great high school. I want to go to a good high school.
And how do you define that great high school?
By the brand name.
There you go. Quid pro
I'm not
quo.
gonna lie.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no,
gonna
no,
lie.
no. Hold on. No. You cannot compare a high school where people are testing into, and that's the only way they're getting in, to a run of the mill brand that has been created with like 10 other fakakta mysterious factors. I'm sorry, those two are not the same thing. A private school that prides itself on enrolling really rich kids is not the same
How
as
did that
a,
come about? I didn't see
because
that.
that is a brand. The really rich kids go to very high branded schools, and those schools actually, believe it or not, they hire PR companies to keep their brand. And so you cannot compare that to what Veer and other millions of New York City kids do, which is take one exam and on the basis of that one exam get in or not. I mean, there's a difference between a really good school and a brand value school. And my issue is that you seem more smitten by brand value than the quality of the work that's being done.
No, for me, it's the exclusive admission rate, that makes the peer group of a certain quality and character, right?
I understand that, and IIT where you went makes sense to me that there is a
I
brand
mean,
premium for
I'm
that.
not. I'm not trying to say, but I did not say that. To me, that was a very specific academic entrance procedure. To me, the top universities in America have a different admissions criteria, but it's still.
Exactly why you paused yourself when you use the word academic, because it's not all academic.
But it doesn't have to be. To me, like not everything has to be selective on the basis of academics alone. Personality, achievements, leadership, all those criteria can be very subjective, yes, but also very important too.
No
Which
one's denying that. But what these colleges and what a lot of these brand names have become is they've become overwhelmingly all that other stuff. Overwhelmingly. And it's
I
not
have
just personality. It's like, what family were you born into? Since when is that a factor in America?
like I got educated in high school sitting in a classroom with 50 other kids with a teacher teaching on a blackboard and writing concepts down that we had to memorize.
A
I don't
blackboard is crazy.
It
yeah.
was a
Yeah.
That's
blackboard,
crazy.
yeah, but there was no computers yet, right? Went to high school in the early 1990s, so hence that's 30 more than 30 years ago. So of course there's not going to be computers and the way kids are being taught today. But I didn't see any merit in that form of teaching, even if it was replaced by computers today, where it's just memorization of concepts. And
I have kind of an observation about this. I don't know if this is necessarily true, so I'm gonna ask you guys. What I am seeing is that I feel like people who go to brand name schools kind of develop more of a sense of confidence in themselves, and I think that there's always going to be outliers in the way that mom was at OSU, where it's not an insanely prestigious
she's
college,
not at OSU, but similar. Okay. Mhm.
um, but she was just very determined, and she put her head down and built her whole comedy empire. But what I'm seeing is that the people who go to the brand name colleges do have more confidence. So I want to ask Didi, by going to one of the best, most renowned colleges in the world, do you feel like that gave you more confidence?
uh I don't know. I'm definitely working on my confidence. But I do think your observation is true, and that one thing that I got from my education, which I'm very privileged to have gotten, is that you learn to not be afraid of really complicated topics, right? Like the reason why people do engineering degrees isn't necessarily because that degree is going to be immediately transferable to whatever they build in the future. It's also because if you do really hard academic subjects, usually you're not intimidated by giant words and big concepts and new AI models, right? Like I met somebody yesterday who is an alum of Stanford who was throwing around all these physics concepts as a way to understand life. Like he was just throwing around physics metaphors to basically explain the way that he lived his life. Before
That's
I
really
went,
hard, Soya.
he's 45. Anyways,
Okay.
I met him in a mentor capacity. And if I had met him before I had gone to college, I think I would be really intimidated by that conversation, right? Like I would be like, oh my God, he's coming up with like all these words, like, I don't know, like, just, it was just a lot. But now I was like, oh, actually, I fully understand. And I actually had the confidence, obviously, to ask him questions about what he was saying and like to probe further. I think another thing that's really helpful about going and getting like these educations is that you learn to be kind of distrustful, like a little bit. That's one thing that I got from like going to one of these schools, is like you kind of learn to probe further and not just like immediately accept what's fed to you. And I think that skill is going to be extremely important as we become more reliant on living our lives with AI models. AI models are so affirmative. Like, they're so affirmative. So if you don't know how to like actually probe and ask the right questions, you lose your sense of like what's going on in the world.
Also, Zoya, I wanted to make a comment that I'm not linking quality of education to commercial success. I never made that point. Commercial success, which is success in the way that humanity understands success, right? Someone who's a billionaire is more successful than someone who's a 100 millionaire is more successful than 10 millionaire. We hardly ever see an example of a laundromat owner to be a story of success, right? Even though that person may be very successful. I'm not linking the two. I'm not saying that high quality education, in the way I understand high quality education, is quote unquote a guarantee or even a precondition to succeed in the world in a commercial way. I just want to make that clear.
So then what are you saying by it?
I'm just saying what you said, that it gives you this, even in the lack of success, you don't feel underconfident. You always have this sense of this basic level of achievement at an early stage of your life that just never goes away. It always
One
becomes
thing,
a part of who you are.
I mean, I think, or you, mom, go. I feel like you're shaking
No,
your
no, no.
head.
It's okay. Finish your thoughts. Zoe.
No, I have no.
I think it's fine to feel confident, but the issue is that you think you don't know another life. So you just assume that anybody who doesn't have a brand name is not confident. That's why you open this podcast with saying, I'm not sure mom can contribute. I don't need a brand name to tell me my self worth and to
How
give me
did I attach? I
confidence.
didn't attach it to self-worth.
This is what I'm trying to say.
No,
I'm
but
saying
you did. You opened this podcast with saying, I'm not sure your mom will have anything to contribute because she didn't go to a brand name school. And that's
I
what
mean,
I'm pushing back on it, because whether or not brand names give you confidence is a separate matter, and maybe there is truth to that or not. But you're making assumptions about people who are not attached to brand names, and you're not only wrong, you're very wrong. That learning hard things can be had. People are learning hard things, especially in 2025, sitting at home by themselves for free online. A person who wants to learn is going to figure it out one way or another.
so how do you get access to that peer group
I
that
don't need
is
access to that peer group. I'm surrounded by hardworking people all the time. Hardworking people, the brand name places don't have some sort of monopoly on hardworking people. In fact, I would like to respond to what Veer was saying, which is, do you feel that you have confidence and all of that because of a brand name? I have seen some of the highest level grifters coming out of brand name colleges. They are so lacking in confidence that they make shit up constantly, like actually, and they're under a lot of pressure to make shit up because everybody around them is succeeding or seemingly succeeding, so they can't even relax and just be human. And that, I'm sorry, but it's a bigger problem in SF and around the Bay Area and Stanford.
well, again,
Why
I
are
just want
you
to make it
making this
clear.
a Bay Area issue?
Because right now, for example, you and I have spoken about this earlier today. Right now, everybody thinks there's this giant AI gold rush happening, and everybody who lives in that area is like worried that they're gonna miss this gold rush. So they've got to sound smart, they've got to work harder, or at least do what they think is harder work. Just being normal human is out right now in the Bay Area.
For sure. But just being
That's what I'm
normal
saying.
human, okay, one thing I will say is just being normal human is not the pathway to like being a successful person. Right? Like, one thing that we've talked about a lot is like the world actually wants you to be average. Right? Like, there are systems designed so that you can stay average and stay the course, because it's a lot easier for society to function if if most people are average. And it takes like every single amazingly successful person I met is extremely not average to the point that they're so weird it's almost distasteful. Like it's actually hard sometimes to hang out with this person. And I would say in many ways both you and dad, who I see as very successful, have behaviors that are not average and actually like annoying to be around, I'm sure, for many people, right? Like for example, mom, you performed 6 times yesterday in multiple parts of the city. That to me is like
Wow.
she
You performed
did.
6 times.
And that's going to be happening throughout this entire weekend. That is something that most people would be like, that's a non-human behavior to be indulging. Dad, you have been like, you are so regimented about your like day-to-day sleep schedule, like, and your scheduling of time. You've been like this for years and years and years, so much so that you choose your schedule over like actually socializing and quote having fun, right? And that's made you successful in several. So what I'm saying is actually, I don't think that that's a fair criticism of the Bay Area at all, and is actually probably one of the reasons why people here are super successful. Now, what I find irritating about being here is there's a narrow definition of success. That is, I think, what you're commenting on, right? Like, success isn't just having a lot of money, right? Like, there are a lot of people who have lots and lots of money who are deeply unhappy and deeply dissatisfied with the nature of their work and the results
Like
of their
who?
work.
So I actually have to challenge that statement.
Do you think
Who is
money
that?
buys happiness?
I think money
Yes.
buys all the
There's
happiness.
actually
yeah.
studies that prove that money buys happiness. Like,
The
this
only
has
I
been
people who
definitely,
proven.
I
say
think money
money,
buys happiness. I mean, I'm just asking the question because
I think
now
the
we're
only
on this
people who
thread.
say money does not buy happiness are people who don't have money, or the ones that have too much money. They say that so that they don't come across as arrogant or self-obsessed.
The thing is that whether money buys happiness or not, one thing is clear: if you don't have money, you're not gonna be happy,
Yeah, I think that's a
because
better
it
question.
is a
Can you be
constant
happy
source
without
of
money?
stress if you don't
Hmm.
have money. Like that, we can all agree on. Whether how happy and all you can be and all is a whole philosophical thing. But
Hmm.
if you don't have money and you're in that position, it's a
I
very,
mean, of
very
course, you
stressful
want to
life.
have health, right? Like somebody who is rich or poor and dealing with a health issue that is unexpected, right? And serious health issue, that health issue will overwhelm any other kind of stress, right? So I understand those extremes of, humanity that can lead to lack of happiness or so on and so forth, right? Like Jeff Bezos, if tomorrow he catch, like Steve Jobs, if you asked him towards the end of his life that if somebody took all his money away and all his success away and gave him another 10 years of cancer-free life, he probably would have picked a cancer-free life over the money. So I don't want to make, let's forget about those extreme sort of extremities of life, if you will. But short of that, money of course brings you a lot of happiness.
Can we go back to the topic? Because now we've like strayed so far. The topic is how we learn through the generations. Now,
Yes.
one thing that I find so fascinating is Veer, you live in a time where you have AI models available to you, right? And I'm a technological optimist. I really believe that we're moving forward as a society and not backwards. I'm not afraid of what's going on. I'm like I'm so insatiably curious about it. Now, Veer, what what is it like to be in middle school with AI models? Like how are people using it? Like what are you seeing around you? Is it like something that people are afraid of? Like I want to know everything.
There's definitely a few things here. So some people, like the people who don't really care about school, think they can just completely chat GPT an essay and just copy paste and get away with it. Like there are multiple cases of teachers just catching students using AI, and it's just really embarrassing. Because if you actually wanted to do that, it's not that difficult. I don't, but just generally be better. The second thing is that AI is just an insanely helpful tool at school. I would never use it to write something for me fully, but to help research and find like reliable sources in order to complete the work is just very, very helpful. And then past that, the fact that AI has been able to teach me things, like for example, if I gave it a math problem and I said, "Can you teach me how to do this?" without telling me the answer, it's just very helpful to have that tool. So I think that AI has generally been like one of the three most helpful things at middle school for me.
And guys, as parents, do you guys feel afraid that Veer has like this unparalleled access that he's having to
I actually
self-discipline?
don't. Can I make a comment on this, Zoya? When you went to middle school, internet was very new, right?
Yeah, Google.
Google and search
Yeah,
engines and all of
totally.
that. Why is that, in terms of the change that brought about in a middle schooler's ability to learn, why was that not a jump leap of the same kind as the jump leap AI is from internet to AI?
Okay, I'll tell you why. I think
Yeah.
the concern that people have, which is valid, is that the generative content that AI provides for you is not the same necessarily as Google, where like Google would, once you would Google something, you would get like a bunch of different sources. And the questions that teachers would then have to answer for their students is like how to tell whether a source is reliable or a source is not. With AI, one thing that I consider with Veer is when he receives information, there's no like source of truth necessarily. It's retrieving information based on data it's been trained on. And that data is not necessarily something that we as consumers of it have access to. So it's a little bit
To be
different in
to
that
be
way.
fair, Zoya, you didn't answer my question exactly. What I meant to ask is that when your mom and I went to middle school, right, we had hard books
Yeah.
that we had to buy. We bought those physical books, memorized them, and regurgitated the learning out of it into our exams or whatever. And from that generation, first came the internet. To me, the change from hard books to the internet was as quantum a leap as internet to AI is today. That's the point I'm trying to make. So, in other words, such kind of leaps are not new leaps. It is just that it may have felt that it feels that way when you're in the middle of it. And similarly, the leap from artificial intelligence to actual robots, which is a natural next step, is going to be a quantum leap. But humanity will get used to it in the same way that humanity got used to the leap from hard books to the internet, to the access on the fingertips. As a
I don't think they're comparable leaps because
Right.
AI or Google, they were both very big changes, but I don't think that it's measurable to say that the change from books to Google is as big as the change from Google to AI because Google could never just fully do an assignment for you. Google could always help you, but it could never like you can't just say you can't I could send 3 pictures of the instructions my teachers have on Google Classroom and have an assignment done in 10 minutes if I really
not
wanted
even
to. Like maybe 3 minutes. Like Google could never do that. But what it could do is definitely make research a lot quicker than actually going to the library and finding like these books from specific authors that are reliable.
But Veer, I have a
Veer,
question for you.
no, but wait, can
And
we just comment on this? Can I just comment on this really quickly? What Veer's really commenting on is like the friction. Like learning is definitely an exercise in friction, right? It's like an exercise in actually like being overly frustrated with the topic to the point that you hammer at it and hammer at it until you actually get it into your mind and learn it, right? But the friction that has been removed with learning with AI is so like there's no friction anymore. And so that same like push and pull that you used to do to like learn things is no longer necessarily there. So you know what I mean, Dad? Like when you were doing math problems
mm,
for IIT,
mm,
right? Like
mm,
even if you started using Google to learn those topics, you
mm,
still had to like hammer in those concepts over and over and over again until you got it,
mm,
right?
mm.
And so I
Yes.
wonder, Veer, that is such a good point. Now I will let
But
Dad
then,
But
but
hold
then
on.
Zoya, Veer, both of the question is for you both. You can answer it sequentially. The net outcome of learning, which is the examination of it, when a third party examines you on the quality of your learning, where you will not have these tools available, whether it is the IT entrance exam or it's Veer's SHSAT, how will any of these tools help you there? You will have to take those exams just just the same way as in the past, right? So AI or internet or whatever else, how will you prove that you actually learn?
you can. That's why I actually think exams are back in.
Well,
Were the
I think
exams ever out? I thought they were always in.
yeah, those were always in, but I think it's very dependent on how you use the AI. If you were to use it, if you were gonna be completely dependent on it, your grades at school would just be amazing, and then as soon as it comes to anything outside of school where you don't have access to technology, it would just not go very well. If you use it in a way that rather than doing things completely for you, it helps you with what you've already done and helps you do more, then it's a lot different because you'll think about things in a new way that's more efficient.
Listen, there have always been ways to cheat. They've always been there are
Mm.
people in India who just pay other people to take their tests for them.
That's true.
You're talking about AI. India had the original AI. There used to be guys whose entire job was to get a perfect
I
SAT
even know
score.
of a guy like that in
Yeah.
IIT, to be honest. Yes.
Literally,
Yes.
this guy's whole job
Wow.
was to get a perfect SAT score with your name on it. It's done all
Mm.
the time.
It's done all the time.
So
I had
cheating,
no
some
idea.
absolutely. In fact, you can say I need that person to look like a 5 foot tall Indian woman from this part of India, and they'll even source you that.
I mean, the honor code is not very honorable. That's for sure.
If you want to cheat, there have been ways to cheat available. When our cell phones were new and we were using cell phones for the calculator function for the first time in school, everybody knew that we were using the same cell phones to write notes and review notes, while even though we were only supposed to use it for the calculator. I mean, listen, somebody who wants to cheat is gonna find a way,
Mm.
and somebody who is inspired to just learn is
Mm.
going to stick with the path.
Mm.
The normal human nature is not going to change, even though it is a lot easier now to cheat with AI, but it's also a lot easier to spot. I can spot AI writing from a mile away.
Yeah.
Mm.
Even the good tools, you can tell it's slop. It's what they
Mm.
call AI slop now. You can
Oh,
see
that's a
those
word?
Oh my
videos.
Slop, I
god,
like
who
that word.
taught you what
Slop.
AI slop? How did you learn what AI
No,
slop was?
and I get it. I'm telling you, all the tech bros are gonna be like, by next year, it's gonna be so good. You're not gonna be able to tell.
Mm.
I mean, I have a lot of
Yeah.
faith that humanity will find a way.
Mm.
That the hardworking person will persevere. That the person who creates something original and something thoughtful and new and innovative will find a way. In fact, if nothing else, AI might actually make it easier for that person to shine.
Mm.
Because
I
at a
believe
time when
that.
9 out of 10 people are, and by the way, it's coming back to how teachers are going to, the teachers are using AI tools to grade papers
Yeah.
now. So let's not even go down that road. Half the
Oh
teachers
my
don't even
god.
care for whatever their reason, whether right or wrong. They don't care themselves. They upload the same papers on AI and be like, give it a grade.
Mm.
So
No, Mom, one thing you said that I really liked on the 100th episode live taping at Westside was you said that I don't know how many years ago, 20 years ago when LASIK was invented, people said that glasses would be completely eradicated and people would stop
Mm.
wearing glasses. And
Mm.
now glasses are the #1 most sold cosmetic accessory. So I just think that's
they
it's
are integrating the entire internet in your eyeglasses now. Everybody's
yeah.
gonna need and want eyeglasses. I mean,
Mm.
things don't listen. I remember when I was a PI lawyer in like 27 years ago, that the dental industry actually has all the capabilities to prevent any cavity from ever happening.
What?
Yes, the technology exists for any cavity to never happen. That they can coat your teeth, they can create tools that will prevent your teeth and preserve them for life. But the dental lobby is so big. What will all the toothbrush industry, the toothpaste industry, the floss industry, the water pick industry? What will all these people do? So
My
the
God,
push
that
and
makes
pull
me
of
so
that,
angry.
and
You never
and
said that before.
not only that, have you noticed? You know how much sugar is in toothpaste?
Oh, Zarna.
I
Okay,
hate this
you just
narrative.
stole that from me.
I
What?
hate this
You
narrative
just
so
stole
much.
that from me.
Oh my
There
I've
is
been
no
god.
talking
sugar
about
in
European
toothpaste.
toothpaste from so many podcasts because the ones that are coming out of Europe don't have sugar
What
in
do you
them.
do with each other? What did I steal
This
from
narrative is just terrible. You guys like act like there is not sugar in toothpaste. It's just false information.
There is. Okay, it's fake sugar. It's that xylitol, but there is, because regular, yeah. But
Veer, your
that
mom is
sugar,
right. Why do you say that?
yeah.
American toothpaste all
Okay, hold
have
on.
sugar.
Xylitol and like cane sugar is a lot different. You guys need to be able to make that
we
distinction
agree with that.
first.
We agree with that. But because the taste of toothpaste otherwise would be untenable for you mass use, they had to put all these flavors, and they
Mm.
had to put.
Mm.
I mean, those things are not free of consequences. It is true that it's not cane sugar, but you're not ingesting it anyway, right?
Mm.
It's a matter of what are you even rubbing on your teeth. What I'm saying is that a lot of technologies have existed for years that you would think, if this exists for humanity, why hasn't it been done? And it doesn't get done. 30 years later, we're still talking about it.
Can I make a 30-second philosophical point that I want to take credit for and to be known by,
No,
and nobody
Shalabh,
else can?
you cannot take credit for this. I learned this at my my job. How are
But
you
I
taking
have
credit for this?
I have a different philosophical point, not related to this.
I'm almost before he says whatever it is, I guarantee you it's something I told him
No,
about.
no, but
Oh
I think I know what
I
he's gonna say.
I think
the
I know
minute
what
I
he's-
made
I think
this,
everybody knows what he's gonna say, Veer.
No,
what?
I
Tell
don't
me,
know
tell me.
what it
Podcast
is.
community.
Are you gonna
I
make the
know
whole?
say? If he knows,
Are you gonna
if
make
you
the whole
know what he's
medicine
gonna
point?
say.
Okay, say it, Shalabh.
Okay, it's a 30-second philosophical point. I don't want anyone to interrupt. And once it's made, I want everyone to know into the rest of humanity's time, it was my point to have made when it comes out to be true.
Okay.
And the point is that in 1903, when cars first came around, the horse carriage industry used to be a really big industry, right? Because people used to travel using horse carriages. And there used to be ancillary industry around horse carriages as well. There would be people who will clean the horses' feces. There would be people who would maintain the horses. There would be people that would sit with water to feed the horses. There would be people who would drive the horses. So there used to be $1 billion, or what in today's dollars would be $1 billion industry around those horse carriages. And when the first car came around, humanity was concerned that how will the world go along with that car industry, because all of a sudden the car industry will take over the horse industry and the economy would collapse. Did that actually happen? No. Horses did go away, horse carriages did go away, but there was massive amounts of ancillary industry that came around the car industry, and nothing happened. People just moved on as if nothing had happened. Same thing happened in the 1970s with the Industrial Revolution, and same thing happened the first time when the
Oh
internet
my
came
God,
around.
are you
And the
gonna
Wait,
first
this
tell
thing
sounds
is,
the
very
kids
like
the
similar to
Industrial
my LASIK
Revolution
point
as
that
if
I
it's
just made.
your idea. Shut up, like
what I'm
seriously.
trying to say is that when the robots come around and they do all the chores for us, which is 3 years away, if that, right? Very soon, robots will be doing everything for us. There will be an ancillary industry around robots as well, and nothing will change. In other words, the means and measures of success for a human being to succeed were the same when Rockefeller founded JP Morgan as the first bank. And it's the same today in 2025 and will be the same in 21-25 and 22-25. Nothing will change for a human being to create wealth and make money. That is my philosophical point. I don't want anybody else taking credit for it.
I
And
do think
Harvard
this point
College
had been made.
and Harvard
Yeah,
College that
right.
educated the leaders in 1905 and 21-25 and 2025 will continue to do so in 100 years from now as
Oh,
well.
I'm definitely pushing back on that. No, that's not
Why do
true.
you push back on that?
The college situation, that is not. They, you know what happened? The big name colleges cannibalized themselves.
Oh
they
my
they
god.
put themselves in a position where they are no longer relevant. So that is out. But other things, fine.
I mean,
no,
that
many
is
of them
also
you
an
I
got.
think-
exaggeration. You guys are both exaggerating so much. It's like you guys are
What are you
both
talking about?
because for you to say that Harvard College is now made irrelevant people, and for Dad to say that the only relevant people have come out of Harvard College are just two extremely binary statements.
I did not say that. That I use
That
that
is
as
what
a
you said. Like,
no, but I use that name. I use that name as a metaphor, as a point to explain that my point is that the education in the way the tools around us have been changing all the time and continue
So,
to change.
Shalabh, what are the 2-3 top qualities of success for a person to succeed?
Ooh, I like that. Good
Everybody,
question.
let's come up with your top two.
Top three.
Yeah,
Top-
top
okay.
three.
I think to me the top two. Am I going first?
Yeah, go first. Oh, you
I believe-
want time?
No,
you
I don't
want
need
time
to.
because then after the podcast, you'll be like, you put me on the spot.
No, you can put me on the spot. I'm like,
Guys,
I-
this whole podcast's premise is putting each other on
Oh
the
my
spot.
god.
Like,
I think I'm gonna
just-
hate. I think I'm gonna get.
I
hate
have
for
had
my-
50 years to think. I'm not going to use the next 2 minutes.
Okay.
Years to think.
We're going to take a minute to tell you about our sponsor for today's episode.
Are you ready for your daily health drink, Mom?
I love my daily health drink, AG1. Could not recommend it more highly. So simple to make. What did you do?
Well, all I did was I put a scoop of this powder into a water that was measured very nicely for me. And what I love is it comes in multiple flavors, not just original, citrus, tropical, and berry. Not only that, but I've noticed that I don't need as much caffeine when I drink this beverage.
Yes, because this beverage is your all-in-one health drink. It's your multivitamins, it's your prebiotics, it's your probiotics, it's your superfood, it's your antioxidant, all in one. And sometimes I fill the water all the way and just sip it because why not?
Yeah, totally.
Who doesn't need more water? Literally, one of the easiest things you can do for yourself. I carry it around when I travel. I'll just empty one of the flavors and carry it around in this container. And it also comes with this little supplement, vitamin D, which we are all deficient in because New York City and pretty much everywhere, we're not absorbing as much vitamin D as we should. So How do you recommend AG1?
AG1 has over 50,000 verified 5-star reviews and comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Go to drinkag1.com/Zarna to get their best offer.
Get a free AG1 flavor sampler and AGZ sampler to try all the flavors. Plus, free vitamin D and K2, which we all need, and AG1 welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription order.
That's drinkag1.com/Zarna.
drinkag1.com/Zarna. We're going to take one more brief pause to tell you about our sponsor for today's episode.
Function Health.
Function is one of the best platforms for managing all your healthcare needs. Your CT scans, your MRIs, your blood tests, your doctor appointment, everything you need that you've been putting off, because I know you've been putting it all off, it's time to deal with it. You are not going to enter 2026 putting off the most important thing in your life, your health. And Function makes it so easy. Like, what could be the delay?
Yeah,
What could
it
be
was so easy to sign up. I literally signed up in just a couple minutes, and all of a sudden it was starting to give me all these data-driven insights into my health. And it was so easy to get started.
And it keeps all your information in one place, because when you need it, you're going to be like, where is it? Now you know where it's going to be. It's going to be on the Function platform. It's going to be safe. It's going to be concise in one place where you can access it at like a critical moment in your life. You don't want to be out there confused where your information is.
Own your health for $365 a year. That's $1 a day. Learn more and join using my link. Visit www.functionhealth.com/Zarna or use gift code Zarna25 for a $25 credit towards your membership. Now back to the episode.
I think to me the single most important quality is tenacity.
What does that mean?
Like, this is what happens when you don't go to a high-end school. You don't know the meaning of the word tenacity.
What?
Is
He's
that
a
flow?
13-year-old dad.
What are you? What?
What is
Something
wrong
with flow,
with
right?
you?
Literally, oh my God.
Manhattan
You
spelling
even
bee
know how to
champion, by the way.
define tenacity?
Something with flow, right?
Let's see how ChatGPT defines tenacity. I'm curious. now.
Wow, what has happened in the world? I actually am also curious, Dad. Wait, finish your thought, and then my question to you
So
is
I'm going
also-
to ask, what is tenacity from ChatGPT? Tenacity is the quality of being determined, persistent, and unwilling to give up, even in the face of challenges, obstacles, or difficulties.
So
Cool.
persistence.
And
you just said
there
persistence
is
with a more
there
complicated
is
word.
only one human being in this podcast, to me, that embodies tenacity like no other human being I've met in my 50 years of life that I've met, and that is your mother.
Aw, that was such a sweet moment. Was that
That
like
is a fact.
Oh my God, he's trying to get the
no,
podcasters
no.
to like him. You guys,
No, no,
do
no.
it
You know what I
every
wanna-
No,
you know what I
time.
wanna-
no.
what I
That is a
wanna,
fact. That is a fact. I mean, what your mother did at 45 years of age and continue to do today, I think is truly the embodiment of tenacity.
No, I agree with
There are
what
parts
Dad
of
said,
my
but
life
what
that have been
wanna-
very tenacious too. I'm not taking that away from myself. But on a consistent basis, the way your mother has embodied it, I don't think no other human being that I've met in my entire 50 years of life has done it in that way.
Okay, what was the other thing besides tenacity? You needed top three things that are predictor of success.
Okay, if not tenacity, then I would say the second most predictor of success, to be honest, is where you're born. Whether you like it or not, if you're born in a particular circumstance, it just creates a path of success for you than any other. If you're born in a, like, let's say in the Hutsus and the Tutsis environment of Africa, your chances of success have just randomly gone down just by the sake of where you were born.
that reminds me of that Oprah quote that's like, if you were born in America, mom knows the quote. I can't remember it directly. Like if you're born in America, you've already won by having like an American citizenship. Was that what it was, Mom?
The price for your crown has been paid.
Oh God.
Price for
How
it.
did I
So
butcher that so
unfair,
badly?
unfair as it may be, I feel like it is number 2 on my list, because you can be tenacious, you can be intelligent, you can be, but just by the sake of by the act of where you were born versus a child that was born in a very rich family in America, destiny has been written for you. Now there are extremes on the other side, but I would say that's number 2, and
I
is
love that.
3 as well.
Yes, do 3. I'm so curious.
And the number 3 I would say is whether you're a boy or a girl.
Wow. You know
I
what?
think men
I've
have
been
a-
thinking about that a lot recently.
I think men have a better chance at success, whether you like it or not. just how
What
the
are you
world is
talking
structured.
about? What?
No,
That's
he's
what I believe. I
right.
think
From a
men have
statistical standpoint, if you're born a man, your likelihood to succeed is higher. He's
unfair. It's
absolutely
very
right.
unfair.
In 2025, is that still true?
I think it is true in 2025 as well. If you're
By
born
the
a
way,
boy
I'm not
or a
making
guy,
I'm like not one of those people where it's like, woe is me, I'm a woman. Like I love being a woman. But I do actually
but
think
I
that that's
think
a fair
that
point to have made.
all right, those are my three. So I'll walk away from it.
Shall
One
I
quick
go
Who
next?
question for
wants to
you,
go
Dad.
next?
I have a quick question for you
Yeah.
before we proceed. Did your definition of those three change over the course of your life?
Yes, I would not have put number three as part of it without having a daughter, because I grew up as two brothers, and growing up in a middle class Indian family, you're, as much as I love my mom and she is the best mom that there is, but it's just they raise you, believing certain different things, and having a daughter changed that perspective. Yes, and seeing you struggle, in a computer science course just because you're a girl, or seeing you like it's just a different set of struggles. And unfair as it is, I feel like as a boy you just have a, you don't have to deal with childhood. So you don't have to a man cannot give birth, right? It's just been structured that way. So there's multiple years of your life that is just taken away just because you have to give birth. So hence all of those things are real, and partly because as a girl you're just not as smart as a guy. It's just nothing you can do about
That
it.
I disagree
I'm
with.
just joking.
But
He threw that in.
He's
You,
just
you
being a
saw what he
troll.
did?
But
He threw a little pot stirrer in just to get people be like, "Oh, Shalabh didn't just say that." Even he
I did.
started laughing at
I
himself.
did
Okay.
do that for that particular reason, and I'm gonna stick by it.
Who's next?
Okay, I'll go next. I have my three. Well, my third is the same as Dad's, where you're born, because that's realistically that's number one for everybody. But I'm gonna discard that because if we're taking that into account, that's gonna be on everybody's list. My number one, I think, is selfishness. I think that if you want to please everybody, you're gonna fail.
Wow.
That's what I think. And then my number two, I don't really know how to phrase this, so I'm gonna just use a couple words rather than one word. I'm gonna say not caring what people think about you,
Hmm.
which is also kind of similar to people pleasing, I guess. But if you are too stuck on your image to other people, I believe that you're gonna not be able to grow as quickly as others who are more focused on themselves. And then the third was the same as Dad's. I don't really have a third, but those are my two.
Those are great, Veer. How did you learn
Yeah.
selfishness as one?
Selfishness
That's
is so true, Veer. Very
it's
smart.
very true, but I think selfishness and learning how to be selfish is something that you really only learn as you get older. Like I'm surprised that you know that now. Like was there an experience that you figured that out, or like how did you come to that realization?
To be honest, I have a lot of friends that call me selfish. I do. Like there's a lot of people who think, because I always say, like, no matter how many people hate me, I'm never gonna really care. And they always say that I'm selfish and like too self-revolved for that, but that's just how I look at things, to be honest.
But I don't think of you as a selfish person at all
I don't
in that
either.
way.
Yeah, if anything, maybe when it comes to your family, you are the least selfish person.
More of like egotistical than selfish. But
I think what he's saying is that he doesn't really fit in with groupthink. Like he doesn't even in our family. Like if he disagrees, he's quite vocal about it, and he's not going to go on with a plan that he doesn't want to sign on to. And I could see how that reads as selfish.
Yes.
That if
yeah,
I mean, you and Bridge go through it all the time. You want to play a game, and he doesn't want to.
yeah, it's like
And
that.
he,
Like if I
he
won't, if I
resists it, and then you think he's selfish because he doesn't want to
He
play a
is
game.
selfish
He doesn't
when
want
he
to.
doesn't want to play a
See?
game with us.
There you go.
He
There
is
you go. You now you
And not
think of
only
him
that,
as
he's
selfish.
stubborn. He's stubborn as all. But listen, if it makes him a successful person, it's fine. I'm down with it. I will fight till the end.
Okay, I get it. Okay, did you get 3 in beer?
yeah,
Yes.
I did 2.5, but
But do the third one if you want.
the third one, I don't really I'm gonna give a something that I think is gonna get a little pushback from the comment section. I'm gonna say this is more of something that this isn't something that you need, but this is something that if you have will help. I think that being an attractive person will. I don't think there is a single person that's like very like objectively attractive that is not successful.
Wow.
Have you ever seen somebody that's like really like not doing well in life that's very attractive? I think that that's a like
I think that's not as true for men, though. Do you think? Veer?
No, I think
For
it's
men,
for men today.
for men, it's more of like if you're good looking, it won't do much. But if you're really, really good looking, then it can do a lot.
Wow, Veer, you're on
Wow, I didn't see that
fire,
coming.
dude. Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
something
see
I
that.
would have said, I feel like, but that's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to overlap with anybody, so I'm gonna come up with 3 other ones, but I really agree with everything that's been said so far. I would
Mm.
say optimism, just like
Mm.
actual faith, like actual
Mm.
optimism, actual faith, and that's
Yeah.
something that I really have struggled with throughout my life. Like I think when I was growing up, people were like, "Oh my God, Zoya's so positive," and that I was in high school and I was like such a like I was kind of pop. Now I'm like kind of dealing like I've had different relationships with optimism throughout my life. Um, and I do think optimism has never failed anybody. You know what I mean?
Mm. Mm.
Then I would say adaptability. Like that sounds very Pinterest of me, but you know, I'm seeing the stand-up comedians around mom, right? And I'm seeing
Mm. Mm.
over the last 6 years, I've seen the artists around her, and I've seen the willingness that mom has had in like adopting new tools and adopting new ways of using social media and like being okay, being the only one doing those things, and like how much further it's propelled her versus people who are really stuck in what has been done in the past, right? Like, and
Mm.
a lot of
Mm.
people are constantly like, oh my God, 6 years is such a short time for her to become like one of the most important stand-up comedians of all time. But I actually think it was a direct result of like how adaptable she's been.
Do you
So
think
I
she's
think
the most important stand-up comedian of all time?
okay,
Your
all
mom?
time is a tough thing to define, but I don't. There is no more important stand-up comedian of the current moment than her. There is no more important person. She was the number 2 most watched thing on Hulu. She beat every other Hulu stand-up comedian, and that included some of the previously like most famous quote unquote people stand-up comedians with even bigger budgets than her. 100%. She is the most. She's working with like every legacy comedian: Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, like Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, like
They
all
are
of these.
legacy. You would think of
Yes,
them
they
as
are
legacy
legacy.
comedians now?
I mean, of course they are. They're part of SNL. They're part of late night. These are things that are historically now not being watched.
If you were not my son, do you think one of my videos would have made its way to you?
Yeah.
How?
How?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, to be honest, like I could see myself in another universe seeing one of the videos you and me made and like started making fun of it and calling it corny.
Yeah.
If
But
I'm
it
being
would have
completely honest, it
but
would
it
have
would
made it
have
though.
made its way to you. Like you would
Yeah.
have it would have caught your attention. Listen, whether you call it corny or not, first
Exactly.
it has to catch your attention.
Yeah, I
That's
completely
what
agree.
he
I'm
said.
I'm not saying. Well, I obviously don't think our videos are corny because it's me. But like, even if it was for a reason of love or hate, getting to the For You page in the first place is step one of the equation. So
It does find its way to men my age. Many of my
Yeah.
friends, they reach out and say that I saw this, I saw that, I saw this, without me being in it. Just you talking about something or
Oh,
the
and
other.
then
Zoya, did you
I have
do
my third.
Yeah.
No, I have my
Yeah.
third. My third, I think, is actually profound, and it's going to be something that I live my rest of my 2025 and my 2026 by. Keeping it simple. Genuinely keeping it simple. Every single success story, it seems like, has kept things so simple, have been able to explain their product in one sentence, have been able to explain why they live their lives very practically, right? There's no emotion to it. It's like actually simple, delivering simple solutions. And I think the people that are able to cut through the noise and condense things down, I really admire that. And that is something that I really hope to cultivate more in my life too.
All I agree with almost all. Some of your dad, not so much.
Which
But
one did you not agree of
well,
mine?
you had to throw in that my mom was really good and blah blah. I don't know. You literally did that to trigger me. But fine, whatever.
I mean, like, okay, let's ask the other two kids. Have you met anyone more tenacious, Veer or Zoya, than your
No,
mother?
I'm talking about when
no,
you
he's
were
talking about when you were
your
talking
mom.
about
Oh,
Dadi.
my mom. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really
Your
irritated
mom
her.
raised you guys. Like, I'm not even gonna get into how she raised you guys. It's fine.
Okay, all right, fine.
I would say my number one is determination. It's
So
it
tenacity,
starts.
kind of.
Yeah, tenacity, but also it's not. People often think tenacity is something you either have or you don't have.
Mm.
And what I've discovered in my own life is that you can say to yourself, you will do it. And that becomes a reinforcing mechanism of tenacity. I don't think I was born this tenacious. Life circumstances brought me here. But I remember the day, I remember clearly the day when I woke up and I said, nothing and nobody will stop me.
You
What
remember
When
was
that?
that?
was that? When
Yes,
was that?
it was during COVID. I think your dad, the job situation was not good. And I remember waking up and thinking, I'm seeing sparks. I mean, at that time, I was getting not paid anything, $5 for a show. And I was like, I am going to build this. I remember sitting up and thinking, nothing is going to stop me. And
Wow.
every day, and since
That's
that day,
insane.
every single morning, I say it to
I
myself, I
was
say it to
just
myself at night, I say, because I don't believe that it was any God given gift. Like, I was living a very comfortable life for many, many years where I didn't think I would have to work ever. I really, that part of me that was a fighter had died for a long time. But I remember waking up in very difficult circumstances during COVID when you were applying to college and your school had shut down for such a long time. And I was angry. I was angry at the world. I was angry at where our life had come. I was angry. And instead of being bitter about it, I decided I'm going to take all my energy and fight back as hard as I can. And a big way to fight back hard is consistency. It's not, you don't become like, you don't win a war by just winning one battle gloriously. You
Mm.
gotta win every little battle along the way, and you might lose some too, but you gotta get up and show up for the next one. So I said to
wow.
myself, I will, even if I lose battles along the way, this war will be mine.
Mm.
Oh my
And
god.
that's been, and I've lost along the way. I've lost jobs, I've bombed
This is
on
like a
shows,
chills moment. I've like never.
right?
Sorry, this is like the type of thing you'd expect to hear from like I don't know. This is like the equivalent of me hearing like LeBron's story for the first time. Just
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
No, but
Mm.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. That's what it is. That's why I'm so easily
But do
able
you
to say,
living it? Do you not see me living? I mean, there's so many days when things go wrong, and I don't allow it to affect me. I say to myself, this is a small battle. We have a bigger picture plan, and all I have to do is survive the night and get back up and fight again tomorrow. And so even though it is tenacity, I want the world to know that tenacity can be learned. You don't have to
Mm.
sit there and feel helpless that if you weren't born with it, all your friends are tenacious and you're not.
Mm.
It starts with a decision. It starts with you saying, I will not allow the world to stop me. Because nobody can take a person down who's determined not to stay down.
100%.
You know,
100%.
at half the times it's a game of who's gonna wink first.
One wink.
So you wink. You know the winking game?
Blink, blink,
Blink,
blink
blink,
first. Yeah.
blink.
Oh my god, I lose that game every time, so I'm screwed.
Well,
talking about like staring contests.
Yeah,
Mm.
she's talking about staring.
But in a philosophical way,
I don't
where you're
understand what
where
the
you're where
philosophy
you're
is.
staring life the way you would stare at a person,
Yeah.
and not letting life let you
Oh,
blink.
okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's half of it is just not getting overwhelmed at the prospect. Like, that's why I think a very successful person is able to keep two fields of vision always in sight, the long range and the short range. You
Mhm.
can't always just be the big picture person, you can't just be the detailed person. A really successful person keeps both things in mind, and this is true also of building a family. Like, there are so many, I have so many friends whose literal marriages have broken up over he doesn't load the dishwasher, he doesn't do the dishes. What are you even fighting about?
I
What
mean,
are you
generally,
fighting?
the last things are like a proverbial thing on the camel's back, where bigger issues are
Yeah.
festering in the background, and the act of not loading the dishwasher is just what ultimately was the last straw, right? But I get your point. What are the other two?
I mean, a lot of what you guys have said, I already agree with. I think an obsession with learning
Hmm.
has served me well in life, and for free. I don't mean a degree and all that.
So
When you
curiosity.
have time,
Hmm.
and I listen. I love brain rot, so I'm not against scrolling on Instagram and all that. So I'm not here sitting saying like everybody sit on Khan Academy all day from morning to light and learn trigonometry. I'm not saying that. But there are so many things you can learn for free. that, even if you never use it, it makes you feel a little more confident about knowing something new. A big
Totally.
part of life is not decaying yourself. It's like a mental strength training, and I really believe in it. Like, there's I mean, and I learn absurd things, just so you know. Sometimes my flight is delayed and I start googling how to fly an airplane, because I feel like I'm sure there's a way to learn that on the internet. But I think a lifelong obsession with learning has served me well. And the final thing,
Maybe you should instead search how to afford a private plane.
Oh,
I'm
She
gonna get a
would
private
even
plane.
even when
Yeah,
she can buy one,
it's
she's
not
been
my
You know
thing. I
what?
don't know.
before.
We have actually flown once, and it's pretty scary. It is
I
very
did
scary.
not enjoy that
Hmm.
experience. It's not for me.
Because it
Uh,
just feels like you're the only one if you die. When you're
yeah,
with 200 people, it feels like people will work harder to not let the plane fall down.
yeah.
Lol.
Uh,
Such a ridiculous
I don't
conversation.
know about that, but anyway, those two are my things. I don't even have a third. Everything else has been covered, and this has
One
been,
thing, wait,
listen,
one thing
we,
I would
yeah,
say you do, but you don't say is like you write a lot. Being a good
yeah.
writer. Would you say that being a good? I mean, I don't think anybody
See,
communicates.
I think being a good communicator, because I don't
Yes.
write high prose. I don't write like, being a good writer to me is not grammatically perfect writing. I think concise delivery of your thoughts, even in imperfect writing, even in informal writing, is very important, and will become more important as AI grows, because AI has a habit of like adding all this nonsense verbiage that like literally, it's like somebody turned the thing off. It's actually annoying to read. But this listen, this topic is endless. It's an endless well. This has been our episode on how we learn, what we learn. It took unexpected twists and turns, as all family discussions do. We want to hear from you, how you're learning, what your family is doing together. Please share this episode with somebody who you think could stand to learn something new, is feeling stuck and wants to be unstuck in their life. And as we end every episode with a round of good grades with Gargs, so too we are going to end this episode with a round of good grades with Gargs, where each Garg assigns an A grade to another Garg for the winning moment, for the entertaining moment, for the enlightening moment of the episode. So, who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
Well, I might just have to give my A grade to the scary dog for this episode to mom. I'm gonna give the A grade to mom for two similar and anecdotes. The little LASIK story you told on the 100th episode podcast, that story has just really stuck with me, and it gave me a lot of perspective on how innovation doesn't always mean that everything else will collapse. And then similarly, the thing you told us today about how the cure to cavities has already been found, but they just don't want to implement it because otherwise the toothbrush industry, the water pick industry, all of it will collapse. So for those two stories, I'm going to give you the A grade.
Mm.
Thank you. I will accept it with love for the first time, not prejudiced. Thank you. Okay, anybody who wants to go next?
I'm going to give my A grade to Veer in his description of what qualities, particularly the one he picked on selfishness. I think it's often overlooked how important it is to be selfish. And, you being the most unselfish by being the most selfish. Because by being selfish, you're no longer a burden on your family
Other
and
people.
people that you love. So, in some ways, it is the most unselfish thing to do to be selfish. And we pointed that out. So, I think it's fantastic.
I am going to give my A grade to Veer. I thought his point about being selfish as a way to be successful was. I thought his points about everything today were really on point, and I'm also just generally really excited that the podcast comments have been talking about how emotionally sensitive and mature Veer is, like because he really is, and the fact that he does this podcast with us every week is like the highlight of my week, and he doesn't have to do that. So it's really cool.
Okay, amazing. And I'm going to give my A grade to Zoya, because she is in the hub of how new things are evolving and how people are learning. And she's keeping her head straight. Like, it's not an easy thing to do, to be surrounded by those people who are talking about AI and the future, and then to immerse yourself in a world of creating a real life community, which is what we're creating with this podcast, with these topics. It's such a tough balancing act. I can only imagine how hard it is. So, my A grade today goes to Zoya Garg.
Wait, actually, now after hearing that, I'm gonna retract my A grade and give it to Didi.
What?
So, yeah.
I
like-
gave you chills during the episode. Did
yeah,
you remember
I'm not gonna
that?
lie. No, but after what you just said, like I just realized I gotta give it to Didi. If she's like in the whole spot with all the tech and she's like doing this whole thing with us, which is, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, my grade's going to Didi now.
Ha!
Mom, you were so good at this episode that you compelled everybody with every point you made, even your own.
Okay, all right. I guess in a historic first in 90 episodes, my A grade got taken away from me.
One thing I want to
any A
plug
grade.
before you end this episode is we have a game that you can play with us called gradeswithgargs.com. We didn't think anybody was going to play this game. We actually made this game primarily for our family and our amazing team. And then we recently released it and we're getting thousands of plays a day. So if you visit gradeswithgargs.com, you can play with game with us in less than 5 minutes. And basically it's really fun. And
5 minutes? What? Less than
less than a
1 minute?
minute. Less than a minute. Yeah.
Well, I mean, why do you only get to get a plug? I'm going to put a plug too that I did 3 consulting assignments yesterday with a 28-year-old, a 34-year-old, and a 45-year-old. And these are 3 of many that I've been doing so far. We have Finance Dad podcast, and you guys are welcome to.
What are you
reach out.
consulting on? Shalabh, tell people what
Each
you're
of them,
consulting.
each of them had a different thing. The 28-year-old was stuck in a job, early job, and wanted to, figure out how to sort of get out of that rut at an early stage of the career. I don't want to reveal the person's sex because I don't want anybody to know any more than that. The 34-year-old was at a middle stage of their career and wanted to get out of that. And the 45-year-old wanted to try something entrepreneurial at a late stage of their career and wanted to get advice on how, my family did it, my wife, me, Zoya, and wanted to learn from that. So all 3 were different.
Amazing.
But 3 in the same day was the first time. I've been doing it for a while, and it turned out to be a Friday, but 3 did it at the same time.
So proud of you,
Amazing.
Dad.
Guys, this has been such an unexpectedly twisty, turny episode on learning, on goals, on life, on tenacity, on fighting a war, conquering your demons. It went all over the place like every good family discussion does. And we cannot wait to hear from you how you're learning, what you're up to, the things you're dealing with. Play our game, gradeswithgargs.com. It's not even an app. You just have to go to the website for a split second and it comes and goes before you know it. It's only one word scramble. Check out my husband's podcast at Finance Dad Podcast. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're building a whole community of positivity, of learning, of love, of making connections, even through the digitals, even through the wires and screens and uploads and downloads. We're making it happen. We can't wait to connect with you. Until we see you next time, everybody say bye.
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 Bye.